To start this thing off, I measure out a piece of brass tubing that I picked up at the art supply store. Just mark it really quickly, then mark all the way around it so I can see. I use the K&S Precision Metals tube cutter tool to actually cut down the tube itself. Super easy to use. You guys have seen me use this before in past videos. Basically, you just clamp it on there, you rotate it around, and keep rotating it while tightening it at the same time, and then pop, comes right off. Depending on the size of your pen cartridge, that's going to determine the length and size of your brass tube. For my tubes themselves, I'm actually using some inexpensive tubes I got off of Amazon in like a 3-pack. Super great deal on them. They're really inexpensive in the first place, so grab these. I take out the old rod right there, insert the new brass tube, and just tighten it down a little bit where I can still slide the tube up and down on the rod itself. That way I can customize how it's going to fit into the machine on the next upcoming steps. So now that we have the main part of our machine build ready to go, we're going to actually pick a pen. There's a ton of pen options out there, but I've had the best luck with ballpoint pens and gel pens. For today's video, I'm actually going to be using a white gel pen, mainly because I haven't seen anyone else do it yet. We're going to extract the cartridge by pulling out all the assembly and taking the middle piece here, which is actually what you write with. We're going to also grab another component that came with our machine. This is the needle bar, and this is usually used in a rotary machine that pushes down the plunger to make the needle puncture the skin. What we need to do is we actually have to sand this down and shape it down to fit perfectly into this groove. Alternatively, you can actually cut this off and use another piece of rod that fits perfectly inside your cartridge, but I just decided to sand it a little bit easier of a fit. Once it's sanded down, it should fit into the actual recess of the cartridge really easily. It doesn't have to fit all the way in, you just need a tight, snug feel, and that's about it. So after a lot of sanding, this is what I got, and this is what we're going to use. It's just fit with a little bit of pressure. It's nice and snug, but it's not going to pull apart from the actual action of the machine rotating on the bearing. So that's a nice, good, secure fit. If you're not sure if the fit's strong enough, you can just use a piece of masking tape like I'm doing here just to secure the fit. You really just need this to have a nice connection so it doesn't move. And a little bit of tape goes a long way. I probably use a little too much here that makes some friction inside the actual tube. It's definitely easier to take your grommet and put it onto the needle bar hole off of the machine. Then you're going to take this, once it's assembled, and you're going to actually slide it up into the machine. You're going to put it onto the rotary motor right here where the bearing is. Just press it down and you're good to go. So here's the assembly so far, pretty simple. Now we're going to grab the actual tube itself that we made. We're going to slide it up over the cartridge. Slide that into the machine. We're going to tighten this a little bit, not super tight just yet. And we're going to make all the adjustments. We're going to make sure there's no clearance issues, adjust the tube to where we want it, tighten that down. And now we're going to do a little quick test to see how this thing actually functions. Now that everything's tightened down, we want to actually do a quick check to make sure that there's no friction or clearance issues with the actual cartridge and the tube that we made. This thing's looking pretty good, so now we're going to test it with some power. You attach your clip cord right to these contacts on the back here, and then you hit your foot pedal, and bam, there you go. So the pen seems to be working great, no contact issues. This next step's completely optional, and it's up to you if you want to use it or not, but this is sports wrap, or also known as grip tape. You can use this to get more of a custom feel and more of a comfortable grip on your actual grip itself. You can use all sorts of things underneath the grip tape, or sports wrap as it's known, to get more of a custom fit. And that's how you make a stipple zapper. To use this thing, you're going to use a power supply where you can adjust the voltage. I think 2 volts is a good starting voltage. Very easy to control, not super sloppy. You can go up, but if you do, it feels like you're holding a goddamn chainsaw. Work with what's most comfortable for you. Some people prefer a speed like this. I think it's a little too fast. Using rubber bands like this as well will also help reduce the amount of sway and knocking inside the tube with your cartridge. Just hit the foot pedal and test it out. You can vary the speed as you're working and use all sorts of different things to make it more comfortable for you. I find that putting the paper on top of a piece of felt or something softer gives me a much better result than a hard surface. There's all sorts of textures and variations of speed that you can try with your hand motion to create different effects, and I really have fun experimenting with this. I don't know, guys, let me know what you thought of this one. This was kind of a fun one. This was from a TikTok video that I made that went kind of viral, and people want to know how to do it. This is how you make it. Alright guys, have fun. Wolf Bits out. Peace.